Welcome back. This is going to be an episode talking about games again. Uh, I'm sort of going with calling them the same thing I called my old podcast, which is the basics of the game. So all those episodes will be labeled that. And all the health ones will be labeled Geek Health Update. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to label the other stuff, but we'll figure it out as we go along. It's an experiment. It's a thing in motion, as they say. Anyway, so I've been playing Assassin's Creed 2 a lot lately. I picked it up on a Steam sale, which anyone who's a gamer will know Steam sales are evil things, or wonderful things, depending on your point of view, where you end up buying a bunch of games, some of which you have not played yet. That was the thing with Assassin's Creed for me for a long time. I had Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 and some of the subsequent Assassin's Creed expansions to 2 from the sale. And I had them listed in my library and never installed them. Primarily because I was afraid that my graphics card wouldn't be able to handle it. I kept meaning to upgrade my graphics card, but never got around to it. And, well, recently I have a lot of time on my hands. That's going to be a common theme. Anyway, I decided to give it a shot. So we'll see how that comes out. I played through Assassin's Creed 1. I enjoyed it. It was a fun game. It has its limits, but overall it's a fun game. And then I got into Assassin's Creed 2, and I beat the first Assassin's Creed 2, and I'm now playing through Brotherhood. And one of the things I wanted to talk about in that is a trend I've seen in a number of RPG computer games that ports well over to tabletop games, which is the sort of building an organization or building a city, a keep. The building functionality built into a role-playing game framework. You have quests that make your city better or your Assassin's Guild better. And you do those little side things here and there, and allows you to feel like you're building something, making it yours. And I think that's really awesome. I have been enjoying playing with that in Assassin's Creed 2. You get to build your little town and get it renovated and upgrade the shops in it. And you get some benefits from having those things, but it's also kind of nice that you start with pretty much nothing there, and later on you can like walk through and there's a vibrant town around you, and there are courtesans walking the streets, and there are the shopkeepers there showing their wares and so on. So it's a lot of fun, and it just makes you feel like you're doing something more than just the quests and following the storyline. And it's a nice feeling. And when you get into Brotherhood, they have you doing a similar thing with Rome. You're rebuilding Rome. You're rebuilding the shops that are there. You're upgrading structures, rebuilding the aqueducts, and rebuilding the assassin order. And you actually end up recruiting assassins and training them up and sending them on missions. And I like that structure a great deal. The story itself is fine. It's a relatively enjoyable story about conspiracies and, oh look, it's a conspiracy, so it must have the Templars in it somewhere, because all good conspiracy theories have Templars in it. Yeah, I'm not sure why that is, but apparently they're catnip for conspiracies. But I think that the thing that I enjoy and the lesson I'm taking away from it is constructing things that are not directly tied to straight to the story, but allow the player to feel like they are accomplishing something, that they're building something while they're doing the story as well. And there are some tabletop role-playing games that do this as well. Some of them are very much about it. Pendragon for years was about building a legacy. There's the Game of Thrones game where all the players are part of a house and they're building the house and they're building up the house and maintaining their house, which is a integral part of the game. It's actually one of the things I really enjoy about that game. The setting's, great, obviously. Everybody loves the books and the TV show. But the interesting things they do with house maintenance and administering field battles and things like that, things that are not directly tied to being an adventurer but are still interesting and building things, are very much there. They've talked about in D&D Next having essentially downtime actions, things you do between, which is completely something that people will enjoy doing once they start doing it. I think there will be some resistance from people that think that Dungeons and Dragons is all about the dungeon crawl, and for those people, you don't use it. It's not necessary that you have to use it to enjoy the game, but I think it adds an element that gets your players invested because they have built something up, LARPs do this a lot as well. The in-between game action is an integral part of the LARPing community, at least in the Atlanta area. I don't know what the LARPing community is like in other parts of the country, but in-between game actions are a big thing. People research things, they develop contacts, they learn new skills, learn histories of the world, they make money. That's a thing that people are enjoying doing. And the Camarilla, which is the World of Darkness organized play LARP, does something similar, where you build with your resources, and you can actually have resource wars where one guy's attacking another guy's resources in between game actions. And there are people who love that interaction. They love that game. In fact, there are some people who like that game better than the in-person interaction, which I'm not one of those. I actually like the in-person interaction more. But I like that there is a sense that the game world continues between the games, which is something that adds, what's the word? Verisimilitude? Is that it? No. Anyway, a sense that it's real. That it has a reality separate from the rest of the world. And I think that tabletop games can do a lot in that space. And I think that one of the things I might do in the future when I'm running a D&D game or running any kind of game, running a Shadowrun game or what have you, one of the things I might incorporate in that campaign is the ability for players to sort of build up their resources, build up their base, give them a base to build up and equip, hire gangs to help protect it, do missions that might improve the land around them. I know that the Pathfinder MMO is going to be very much doing that sort of thing, where you get to build in your town and your your guild essentially is building up your own little kingdom in this overall structure of the MMO. Sort of like EVE Online, only with fantasy stuff. And I think there is a space there that's a lot of fun to play with in the digital space. But I think that the tabletop, there's a lot more room to build those sorts of things. And I think I'll play with that the next time I run a game. Anyways, if you've ever done something like that, let me know. And, comment below, which will be cool. No pressure, though. I'm not going to tell people they have to do anything. I'm a very low pressure guy, really. Oh, and subscribe so that when I put up new episodes, you'll get them, which will be cool. I like doing that. And, I need to get better at ending these. I really should. This was sort of rambly. But at least had a subject. Yay, subject. And I will try and put up more of these as the time goes on. I think one of the things I'll be talking about coming up is some of the new games that I picked up. Yeah, I think I'll tell you about some of the new tabletop games I've picked up and give you my impressions of them. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.